What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Zatima. Yes, I'm finally back. I will say it did take a lot out of me to even want to do this review, just because Tyler Perry does what he always does, and that's go off with the deep end, so the storylines don't even make sense anymore. But let's go ahead and hop right into episode 7. So we start this episode off with the aftermath of Fatima finding the photo of Zach, right? Because Belinda was so bold to send Fatima as well as Angela the photo of Zach partying it up with what's her name? Deja. So now Fatima is planning on spending the night at Angela's house. And I'm like, well, hold on, wait a second, because do you know if Angela was planning on having Bryce spend the night? Like, I know that Angela is extremely nice, but if I was her, I would have been like, girl, you need to work this out with your man, and I already have company. Like, Angela, you are too nice. But nonetheless, she of course calls Bryce and gets him involved. The one thing that I kind of don't like about the whole Zatima franchise is how involved Angela and Bryce have been in Fatima and Zach's relationship. Like, they're always trying to be like, I guess, the voice of reason, but I hate that it's written like Angela will say, "Oh, Bryce, go talk to Zach because he's arguing with Fatima." Like, I don't know. I just think it's kind of weird. But nonetheless, we do see her call Bryce. And she basically tells him that Fatima is going to stay at her house and for him to drive slow. Zach is drunk, whatever. Here's where it gets real interesting. Zach comes home with Bryce. Fatima is still in the driveway. They get into a yelling match in the middle of the night, because at this point, this has to be the middle of the night, and it's a hot mess. The thing is, both of them have a point, but I feel like this mostly falls on Fatima. That's because, okay, I understand he's your ex and he has stage 4 cancer, but that's not that hard to tell somebody. It's really not. Versus Zach having to make up an excuse of why he has glitter on his pants because he been grinding all up on Deja, which is crazy to me because I'm like, Deja, aren't you a stripper? You were so busy focused on Zach, who ain't dropping no money on you. Girl, do better. Please do better. So the aftermath of that is Fatima walks away. She's staying at Angela's, and Bryce is going to help Zach, I guess, get ready for bed. Now, this is where Tyler starts to play in my face, and I'm over it. So we have this whole thing with Bryce helping Zach to his room. He's like, helping Zach. No, he didn't help him. He like stayed around while Zach got undressed, and it was just really awkward. Um, yeah, I was not feeling it. I was like, okay, they're making this whole situation with Zach and Bryce too weird. And then it got even weirder later in the episode. When Bryce finally got done playing around and taking peeks at Zach, you know what I mean? He finally goes home and he's with Angela. And Angela's like, yo, why are you so hard right now? And I'm just like, whoa, where's this going? And of course, we have Angela and Bryce hook up. Okay, cool. But here's my whole issue. Y'all remember my last episode? I said, I don't know, there's something about Bryce I'm not feeling. Yeah, it all happened right here. First off, I don't know if it's the role of the character Bryce or what, but I don't believe any word that comes out of Bryce's mouth. Like, I'm just not really feeling his character. Secondly, this whole scene with him and Angela, he didn't even like her. Like, he just feel like he was going through the motions of, oh, I'm about to hook up with my girlfriend, but he just wasn't, I don't know, really into her in that moment. And later on, we'll talk about why, but I just was not feeling it. Especially considering she is a plus size woman. It's like, okay, why does this always happen with plus size women? It's like, first, y'all usually don't give us a love interest. Okay, so now you finally do give us a love interest, and it's not even like he really like her. That's weird. Do better, Tyler. So let's jump on over back to Fatima and Angela. They have a conversation about how Fatima should have said something to Zach and how, he shouldn't have been all up on Deja. Cool. Wake up in the morning, Belinda comes strolling through Angela's house and it's like going off about how Fatima's basically an idiot for staying around with Zach because he's trifling, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, girl, why are you so invested in your friend's relationship? Especially considering this is a man that you want. So make up your mind, Belinda. Is he a bad guy or do you want him? Make up your mind. Oh, I forgot to mention that before she even walked in the door, Fatima and Angela were having a conversation about, um, this whole Bryce being hard situation or whatever. She like, he ain't never been like that, all this stuff. And unfortunately, she's assuming in her mind that it's because of the strippers at the party. Now let's dive into that a little bit because again, you have this plus size woman who is now second guessing herself that her man is not attracted to her. Like, I feel like we could have, really dived a whole lot deeper into Angela and Bryce and why she may have felt this way. Like, I actually would have respected it more if that was the truth versus what has happened with Bryce further down the line. But we'll get there. So when it comes to Zach, Zach has realized that he has made a mistake. There's no way Deja could be his neighbor. He's trying to get out of that lease. He has to call Valerie like, yo, is there any way that I can cancel this? Is there anything I can do? She's like, no, especially considering you saying that she's a stripper, you can actually be sued for discrimination. So I'm like, that absolutely sucks. But Zach, you brought this on yourself. I cannot feel bad for you. You literally handed that girl the keys when it was the same exact day that she came and saw the place. Like, first off, Valerie, how in the world did everything check out so fast? That's a bit weird. Like, I don't know if Valerie is like her cousin or something, but y'all don't think that's weird that Valerie, she magically pops up. She's like, oh, I have the perfect tenant for you. Suggest this girl. And then boom, oh, all her paperwork is good to go. I don't trust it. Don't trust Valerie. And I for sure don't trust Deja. So unfortunately, Zach is stuck with Deja in a lease. And I believe it's only going to be for 6 months. So it can't be that bad, right? Now, this is where Zach's storyline really gets interesting for me, is when his brother pops back up. Um, Yikes. Okay, that's all I can say. His brother literally came by to see that Zach has come up. But we learn a little bit more about Zach's past and how Zach had to do a couple of years versus his brother doing a longer bid in prison. So his brother definitely feels like Zach owes him. And since Zach came up, then the whole family needs to come up talking about how Zach needs to call their mom and how Zach needs to check in and all this stuff. And Zach is really pissed off because he already know his family ain't worth nothing. His family is trifling, and now that he's finally doing better for himself, Zach is trying to distance himself from his family and their piss poor behaviors. So his brother is like, well, you need to give me some money. I need some money. Zach's like, how much? How much do y'all have to give you? And he asked for $10,000, and Zach actually wrote the check. Man, Zach went better than me because I definitely would have kicked him out. He goes and looks all around the house, talking about how nice it is. Like, I honestly would have kicked him out. But let's hop back over to Fatima because she ends up getting a call from Ian's mother. She was already irritated. You could tell that she was pissed off because Ian even gave his mother her number, and I was over that entire conversation because Ian's mom kept saying things like, "Oh, I'm so glad that you're gonna be there with us and you're gonna be there for us." And I'm like, what type of woman are you that you actually are interested and happy that his ex girlfriend, who he treated badly, um, he basically told her to get an abortion, and he got married to somebody else the next week after they broke up. Why are you so intrigued by Fatima? Like, that's weird to me. Because let's not front, mothers know when their sons are trifling. So the fact that you sit up here playing in Fatima's face, talking about some, oh, how happy I'm going to be to see you, and this means so much to me, blah, blah, blah. Bye, Grandma. Bye. Because at the end of the day, you shouldn't even be interested in having a conversation with Fatima in this way. Like, you should really be like, oh, thank you so much for even speaking to my son. Talking about some, because he should have married you. Lady, that doesn't soften the blow. Bye, girl. So, Fatima finally meets Deja. Deja is moving in, and she got these little booty shorts. I'm like, okay, Deja, where are your real clothes? You don't own any? Okay, cool. My only thing about the whole Deja and Fatima situation is the fact that Deja has now met Fatima, and that's not stopping her from trying to flirt with Zach. And that's just so inappropriate, so rude, and it's like, girl, get some couth about yourself. But let's hop on over to the next episode. So Fatima has to confront Zach about how she just met Deja and how she knows that Deja is the same woman from the photo of him in the club. And unfortunately, Zach has to be a man and let Fatima know that, he let Deja move in. It's a 6-month lease. There's nothing he can do about it. But I'm like, okay, here's another crazy part. Why do you trust Valerie so much? And also, isn't it strange that the only people who can ever help Zach whenever he's in a bind, or not even in a bind, just in general, is women? Like, I just find it interesting that Tyler has basically written it that every woman finds Zach attractive, and he's always having these encounters with women. Like, even when it comes to, you have Belinda wanting him, of course, Fatima wants him, that's her man. In the Sisters universe, you have Karen. Remember, they had that one police officer who was into Zach. Over here, Valerie was low key interested in Zach. I'm just like, okay, everybody can't want this man. But I'm going off on a tangent. Nonetheless, the girl has to stay. Zach's brother, he finally come downstairs, and Zach has to kick him out. Thank God. So here's the thing. Fatima was ready to move out. Zach's like, nah, you're not moving nowhere. Alright, whatever. Zach ends up meeting up with his friends again. And when I tell you, I am so sick and tired of Nathan, considering this character is supposed to be a married man who has children, he is like ridiculous. Like, he's so anti Zach having a woman. It's weird. It's like, do you want Zach for yourself or what? Because he literally went on and on about how, well, she met up with him and now he supposedly has cancer. That's BS. That's this, that, and another. Going hard about it. And it's like, dude, this ain't even your woman. Chill out. Like, I just do not care for Nathan's character. I find him to be very strange, considering these people's next big number is 40. You're almost 40 years old, sir. Like, why are you acting so childish? I don't like his character. Fatima has a girl chat with Angela. Nothing really happened there. Moving on. So now let's jump on over to Zach and Bryce meeting up. So Bryce is basically asking Zach if he's bisexual or somewhere on that type of spectrum because of everything that happened when Zach was at his house. And Zach's like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? So he has to explain to him how, you know, when they were in Zach's room, Zach was like, you would marry him. He's like, yeah, your brain because I'm interested in Fatima. And he's like, oh, okay. As if he was disappointed. I'm like, Tyler, again, why are you playing with us like this? So you basically gave Bryce the same type of role as Calvin. The only difference is that Bryce is actually into men, but again, we have this man who the audience has to question their sexuality, and it's annoying. We've already done this with Calvin, okay? Let's not do this with Bryce. I would have rather we left this storyline alone and actually introduced a character who is openly bisexual. Let's do that. Let's stop doing this whole, oh, let's flirt or be interested in a straight character. No, thank you. Let's not waste people's time. I'm just not a fan of that. Tyler, do better when you're writing. Now, this is where the episode starts to get dumber and dumber. So we have Zach, he's leaving the house, and Deja is outside with a bikini on. I guess she was supposed to be like tanning or relaxing. Music is blasting. But baby, why are we in the front yard? I can't name any person who literally sits out in their front yard in a lawn chair so that they can tan. Everybody usually does that in their backyard. But okay, Deja's trying to get the attention of Zach. And now she's talking about how her sink is clogged. Bye, Deja. You are thirsty. And then it gets even dumber. So Fatima and Zach, they end up meeting up together. And they're just basically trying to figure out their relationship at this point. Because there's some blame on her part. And then there's also some blame on Zach's part. As they're having this conversation, why is Fatima consistently texting somebody? And I'm like, why is Fatima, of all people, being so rude and disrespectful to Zach right now? Like, I get that you're mad, but you just openly texting somebody? Like, it better be important. It wasn't. It was her texting Ian so that he could show up and basically tell Zach she was the one that got away. Don't be like me, because, if I still had the chance, I'd give you a run for your money. What was that? I don't understand that scene. Maybe somebody can explain it to me. But the fact that Zach and Fatima are trying to work on their relationship, and for Fatima to text her ex to pop up, that makes no sense. And honestly, it was kind of out of character for Fatima. Like, I understand that her and Ian kind of made, I wouldn't even say made up. He apologized for all the wrongdoings that he did to her, but none of this was called for. She did not need to bring that man to the dinner table. But I guess, girl. So, after Ian finally leaves, Fatima basically is like, you need to make sure that you want to be with me if this is what you want. Zach says that he's sure. Oh, baby, he's so sure that he ends up proposing to Fatima. I said, well, that was quick. Okay, Tyler. We just gonna rush into Fatima and Zach being engaged? Okay, I guess. I mean, she finally said yes to the ring. But here's the thing, again, circling back to Tyler Perry and how the sisters in Zatima universes don't match up. Okay, so when is Fatima going to tell Andy that she's engaged to Zach? Because on an episode of Sisters, y'all already included Deja in the gym in one of the episodes. So this crossover needs to make sense, and it's not. But then again, it's Tyler Perry. So on the way home, Zach and Fatima have a conversation about Bryce and how he questioned if Zach was bisexual. And, that then brought them to the conclusion that, well, maybe Bryce might be bisexual and maybe he's interested in Zach. Who knows, right? Okay, cool. I really just want to jump to the next scene, which was Fatima and Zach getting home. Deja has unplugged her car battery so that Zach can help her because, oh my God, I'm a damsel in distress. And Zach don't even know nothing about cars, but he was going to try to help her. Lord, make that make sense, because how you going to help her when you don't know anything about cars? So Fatima and Deja end up having a conversation outside, and Fatima is like, stay away from my man. Like, we're engaged, stay away from him. And we already know Deja is going to keep trying it. And I'm kind of annoyed because what woman does that? Like, I mean, I guess there's women out there like that, but Deja, chill out somewhere. And also, like, I hate that we have to see Fatima be so, like, angry and always trying to fight somebody because it makes her look really insecure when it comes to Zach and other women. Now, I'm about to skip some stuff, but I really need to jump on over to the fact that Deja is not taking Fatima seriously. She does not care that Fatima is Zach's girlfriend because Zach is about to leave to go meet up with Bryce, and she's outside, she's smoking weed, and she's literally telling Zach how she heard him and Fatima the night before and all this stuff, and how she has all these innuendos going. And I'm just like, this girl, it don't get no thirstier. So Zach ends up leaving. And out of nowhere, here comes Nathan creeping and crawling over to Deja's house. I said, oh, plot twist. I can see his trifling self going over there. And the fact that he paid her so that she can, I guess, do whatever with him, I said, boy, you thirsty. You are so thirsty. Go away, Nathan. All right, so we then see Fatima and Angela. They're in the car. They are on their way to meet up with Zach and Bryce so that they can see the new office. And they basically have this conversation for the second time about Bryce possibly being bisexual. And Fatima even mentioned how Zach and him had this whole conversation. All right, we head on over to Zach and Bryce. Bryce is supposed to be showing Zach properties on his computer, and of course they're standing kind of close or whatever. Zach is just like, all right, let's just go through the properties. And next thing you know, Bryce decides this is the best moment for him to try to kiss Zach. So Zach, of course, socks him in the face. And I'm just like, okay, there's no coming back from this. Like, I don't know how they're going to move forward, Tyler. Like, I really don't understand how they're going to move forward, considering Bryce has a crush on Zach. And they're supposed to be in some type of partnership to, like, flip these houses. That's mad awkward. And then, like I said, he punched him in the face. He's laid out on the floor. And when Angela and Fatima are there, he's talking about how, they were just playing around. Sir, you are laid out on the floor. There's no joking around and playing around. And Zach is pissed off about the whole situation, of course. Now, what gets me is that Angela goes off with Bryce so that they can take a tour of the office. And I'm just like, girl, you do not see the red flags. You don't see nothing that's off about this man. Like, you just gonna pretend like everything's good. Like, why are we not getting a dialogue between those two? I mean, maybe I guess that's gonna happen in season 2 of Zatima, but I don't know, you guys. I really don't know. I hate that for Angela. I feel like Angela deserves better than a man who wants Zach. Like, I promise everybody wants Zach. It's crazy. And then on the other hand, we have Fatima and Zach. Zach again is trying to tell Fatima what's going on, and Fatima thinks that this is hilarious that Bryce has come on to Zach. And I'm like, oh, it's funny that you think it's hilarious that Bryce tries to kiss Zach. Oh, but let it have been Deja. Oh, it would have been a big problem. Oh, my bad. It's because Zach is only into women. Okay, cool. Now, this is where, again, Tyler is doing his Tylerisms because Fatima and Zach, they decide they're going to go home, whatever. When they pull up, you have this lady out here hooping and hollering, yelling, all this stuff, and she's like going off on Fatima about how her man is there. She noticed that she's trying to get her man, blah blah blah, her man, my man, all this stuff. And I'm just like, Tyler, how does this make sense? You literally had Fatima and Zach pull up in a car together. This woman already been sitting up here acting a fool, talking about how her husband is there. We later find out that this is Nathan's wife, but you just saw her get out the car with Zach. How was she here with your man? Make that make sense, sis. Make that make sense. So Zach ends up letting Lori into the house saying, check for him here, whatever, he ain't here. There's no way Nathan is at my house. This girl's over here flipping over pillows, checking the kitchen cabinets as if this man is there, and he's nowhere to be found. Zach ends up going to go open up the patio door, and he sees Nathan in the back with Deja. He, lets Fatima know that Nate's there, but he doesn't want to let Lori know. And of course, Fatima, as a woman, wants to let her know, especially considering who this is. Nathan is trifling, so why not let her know? And plus, he's with Deja. Oh, it's all bad. So we actually end up seeing Fatima at one point run around the back way and pull Deja out the pool or whatever. You would have thought that she caught Deja with Zach, okay, when she put her out that pool. But I guess she just feel like, why are you on our property, first off? Because you live on the other side of the property. Why are you with this married man? And I don't know, it's just completely disrespectful. I feel like she's just tired of Deja's disrespect, period. And then he comes to Nathan, he over here yelling at Fatima as if Fatima is in the wrong. Fatima's like, okay, I got you, cool, because Zach had to go save, had to go save Nathan or whatever. So Fatima ends up leaving and catching Lori before she leaves, and tells her to come around back. While this is happening, you have Zach and Nate getting into it because he's trying to rush Nate to hurry up, put his clothes on, get up out of there or whatever. Because Zach wants no part of any of this. But here's the thing, Fatima comes back around, and of course, her and Nate going back and forth again, going back and forth again. He finally is trying to leave, and he ends up getting hit by Lori. And I'm just like, yeah, Lori and Nate, toxic, toxic, toxic. And, Fatima is mad at Zach because he was willing to basically cover up for his boy. And I would be mad too because I don't think men understand how much hurt and pain all that cheating and all that, that causes. So, she tells him that she wants him to clean the jacuzzi or whatever because that's where Nate and old girl were. So Zach, he plans on cleaning out this jacuzzi, and then here comes Tony coming over out of nowhere or whatever. And Zach had a conversation with him that I feel like was definitely necessary, and that was that they need to grow up. Again, y'all next big number is 40. You're too old to be acting like this, especially considering Zach is happy. He's in a relationship with Fatima. Why are y'all causing problems? Well, not so much Tony. Tony really wasn't the problem. But Nate, Zach is gonna have to drop Nate because there's no point in trying to keep him around, regardless of how long they have been friends. So, here's the thing. Angela now calls Fatima and tells her how, she wants to have a conversation with Bryce, but she wants to have it with Fatima and Zach there. And I'm like, wait, so that's the way you're going to confront your man? With an audience? That's going to be weird. But okay, girl. So I'm assuming that in season 2 is going to pick up right where it left off, and we're going to see that conversation happen because we didn't even really leave on a cliffhanger. We just kind of left in the middle of nowhere. That's how I feel. So honestly, Zatima needs to come back sooner rather than later. But nonetheless, Fatima, she has to convince Zach to be open to meeting up with Angela and Bryce again. And he's like, okay, fine, I'll do it for you, whatever. So let's get to the nitty gritty. The paternity of this baby. Fatima, of course, sent those not labs, she sent those swabs to the lab, and we finally got the results. And the results came back and said that Zach was the father of the stripper's baby. And I'm just like, I guess, but I really don't care for that stripper's character. So I kind of wish that, that wasn't what happened. And I'm not saying that Zach needs to have like this grandiose, squeaky clean um image now that he has money, but him having that stripper's child, no thank you, because her character was horrible. And then also, let's not forget that we still have another baby possibility with Karen on Sisters. So it's like I feel like we're doing too much. And also that baby looked like it could have been Nathan's baby. Let's be honest here. But nonetheless, that was Zatima. Let me know what y'all thought about the series. Again, hopefully in season 2 it will make a bit more sense as far as like the Bryce storyline and this whole baby situation, because this has to be a joke. I just don't believe it. And yeah, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And I will talk to y'all in my next one. Bye, guys.